Hello. It is Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Going for a walk around Minneapolis, Minnesota today. I'm currently outside of Open Book, Minneapolis Center for Book Arts, and Milkweed Books. Walking along South Washington Avenue towards central downtown. I was inside Milkweed looking for a book that I wanted to pick up. They did not have it, so I will get it somewhere else. Kind of a gloomy fall day here. Not super cold, mid-40s, but it's that kind of damp cold that you get sometimes, a little chilly. Winter has not quite hit yet. I think next week it's supposed to start getting to those sub-freezing all-day temperatures. You know, I said Washington Avenue, but why don't we go over towards the Guthrie? That seems like a more pleasant walk right now. I think I walked along Washington a few weeks back. Yeah, the book I was looking to pick up was Life After Cars by the hosts of the War on Cars podcast. They just released a book about a month ago, and I hope they do an event here in the coming months. They had an event at the Cedar Cultural Center put on by Our Streets last year, where the two podcast hosts came out and they were with a panel of, I think there's like a filmmaker, podcaster, a couple elected officials, and they did a little discussion around transportation issues in Minneapolis last year in the Twin Cities, and I enjoyed that event. We did like a group bike ride before it, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I just got done listening to the audiobook. I've been listening to it for about the last week or so, and wanted to pick up the actual book because I enjoyed it. And it's basically covering the ways, cars change cities and our transportation habits affect our lives in all these different ways, and all these things that we view as inevitable parts of life are not necessarily so, and goes over everything from the history of becoming more car-centric and the history of some of these other European cities that put work in to make their central cities a little more people-focused. And then goes over some stories ranging from horrific to inspiring in terms of traffic violence, transportation advocacy, and then ends with some solid information for moving forward. So definitely recommend checking out that book, Life After Cars. If you are a podcast listener or audiobook listener, the two writers of the book they do have a podcast, War on Cars, and their audiobook version is them reading it. So you have these two podcast hosts who know how to speak, and easy one to listen to. So I've been listening to that while riding my bike to and from work for the last few days. Was listening to it when I recorded that video up at University of Minnesota campus the other day. Yeah, nice book. Definitely worth checking out if you're interested in alternate transportation and progress around walkability, mass transit, all those sort of issues. This is Gold Medal Park outside the Guthrie Theater. This is where I filmed the first Walking Minnesota video. I walked across the Stone Arch Bridge and then walked through this park, looked at some of the sculptures, and walked up that little mound. Takes me back. Yeah, getting back to that transportation thought, there was an announcement today that Waymo, someone on Reddit the other day saw a picture of Waymo vehicles being delivered to Minneapolis, and they're like, uh-oh, what's coming here? And then today they announced that Waymo is going to start testing and hopefully launch in the future. That's their hope. So we'll see how the Waymo autonomous vehicles do in winter conditions. They're going to be driving for a few months with humans controlling them, or humans at the wheel to make changes. For me, I have a few questions around it regarding safety and performance. So they have put out a lot of studies around how safe their vehicles are and how Waymo's safer than a human driver, and their sensors and the systems that they use are able to prevent traffic injuries more so than a human driver. But, they're the ones putting those studies out. So who knows what data they're hiding. I think the results in the cities they've launched in have shown that they might run into issues such as double parking and stuff, but when it comes to the more dangerous aspects of driving, I think they have shown that they are an improvement in that category. But we'll see how it does in winter. I know that I had read that they had hired a team of lobbyists to try to get approval to operate here in the state of Minnesota. It's going to be an interesting legislative session coming up next year. There's also, for me, the major concern around labor and all the rideshare drivers that are going to be put out of work, and the money that is being cycled through our local economy here that's not going to be cycled through anymore. So you think about the rideshare driver who comes, picks you up, takes you to your destination. You come see the Mill City Museum or whatever, takes you across town to drop you off at the museum, and that driver gets their pay for that ride, goes on and moves on to the next one. Then maybe at the end of their shift they go have a meal, or they go to local grocery store, pick up some food, go home, cook that food. Their kids go to our schools. They're living, working, operating within our city and in our state. When we siphon that money out away from that human labor, it's going to be going into the tech companies. I'm sure that they'll argue, oh, well, we're going to have people who service the cars, and there's going to be X amount of high wage jobs for these people who service the cars and take care of the technology and all this stuff. But when we are taking money from all that labor, all those people are going to either need new other jobs or need increased social programs to make up for their lost wages. Whether that be they go from not needing food benefits or not needing government health care, and then their income drops below that level to where they do start needing that health care and do start needing those food benefits, and someone's got to pay for that. And I think that those companies that are making that labor obsolete have an obligation to our community to pay their fair share if they're going to be doing that. But from my understanding, these companies we're not necessarily seeing that many less Uber and Lyft drivers. When we see an increase in autonomous vehicle trips, you're just getting more cars on the road, which means if you're a driver, you're going to see more traffic, more competition amongst those drivers. Maybe those drivers get less rides, so now you have both a driver and an autonomous vehicle circling, waiting for that next trip to be paid for. Trip to be purchased. But yeah, a lot of concerns on my end, specifically about the incoming labor crisis due to increased automation, where technology is this thing that can be great. You know, it brings us the opportunity to do what we're doing today. Like, I'm walking around showing people wherever you are, Minneapolis, Minnesota, chatting with you about whatever. You can sit at your computer and sit at your phone or whatever and see all over the world. But with technology comes drawbacks. You look at the way Amazon affected, every video I record in downtown Minneapolis, people who grew up in the area, they see Nicollet Mall and they say, what happened? There used to be Dayton's, there used to be this department store, there used to be that department store. When I was a kid, this place was shoulder to shoulder because everyone would come downtown to go shop at Macy's and go get their Santa Claus teddy bear and all that stuff. And all those places are gone. And all those jobs are gone. And all that money cycling through the local economy is now cycling through Amazon and a few delivery drivers who are putting more traffic on our streets. We got to think about how making these choices of allowing this technology to automate our workforce without improving the quality of life and livability is going to affect our city and affect our society. All right, I see we got a handful of people viewing. Anybody out there in favor strongly or against the autonomous vehicles? Anyone have a opinion to share in the chat? Steer me in another direction, whatever you're feeling. Happy to say hi to anybody out there. We are back on Washington Ave now. One thing about the autonomous technology is I'd love to see a way to use it to make our transit more efficient. So when we talk about making our transit systems to be improved, one of the things many people complain about is the bus only comes every 15 minutes, the bus only comes every 30 minutes, sometimes even worse than that. There's this labor shortage in terms of drivers for the buses. I don't know, maybe if that's the case, maybe some of these Uber Lyft drivers can get poached by Metro Transit and start driving buses. We'll see. But I think there's a distinctly different flexibility there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's inevitable that at some point, I guess I don't want to say inevitable, but it feels inevitable that at some point there's going to be an increase in driverless technology, unless something drastic changes in our society. But when that comes, where do those data centers go? Where does what are the costs of doing that? What are the social costs of that lack of human interaction, to where even if you are in an Uber, Lyft ride, or whatever, where you're next to someone else and might not chat much, or I used to be in a cab, but when you lose those human interactions and you're just showing up to go to from work, losing more and more connections every day. We talk about this loneliness epidemic. How does that fit in with it? Outside the press box here on 3rd and 4th. So coming up here, there's a store. I don't know if it's a mural or what, but I think it's a mural. They painted the building bright green. You can see it's bright green back there. The pot leaves up there. I think as part of the agreement to reopen the government, there's some sort of change in the law that allowed for recreational hemp products, which is like the THC drinks that are very popular in Minnesota right now. Another huge labor issue, another huge economic issue for our area, where all these breweries that were able to stay afloat through doing that, all the distributors who are selling those products, all those restaurants and bars, and the THC joint, all these places that have invested in that model when it was legal, now going to have to answer to the grips of the federal government that has decided that those products should not be allowed. What happens to all those jobs? Where do those people work now? Where do those businesses go? What goes into that storefront that gets put out of business? So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about labor issues and economic issues, and how we move forward from impending changes that are coming. This is the Commerce at the Crossings on the corner of Washington and Marquette. Washington's that next street over. Marquette's actually the next street up. There's a sandwich spot in there. There's actually two of my favorite Skyway eating places in there. You got Dagwood's, which does like sandwiches. They're pretty good sandwiches. And then Skyway Walk, which has to be some of the best deals in the Skyway system. They got these super cheap breakfast sandwiches, very bare bones, basic. And then they do like these giant egg rolls, which I think you're supposed to get as like a whole like plate. But for me, the egg roll itself is enough, and I think it's like $3 or $3.50 or something. The thing's huge. I do wonder how long it will be before we start seeing the autonomous vehicles in our central city. I assume that they'll start testing on the outskirts of town a little bit more and then start bringing them in. But I don't know, they could kind of want to be seen in the downtown area and want to be noticed to get people talking and thinking about it. Get that dialogue going. Crossing Marquette right now, coming up towards Nicollet Mall. We'll probably walk up Nicollet Mall for a bit. One of the things that I think it's in one of Doug's portions of the War on Cards book, in the conclusion there. I apologize to people who are just joining in a little later. I'd been chatting about this book, Life After Cars, that I just finished this morning, and it was kind of hot on my mind because I had woken up and first read this news about the Waymo autonomous vehicles coming to Minneapolis, and then was riding my bike in listening to the audiobook, and in the conclusion they're talking about autonomous vehicles and how they operate best on wide roads and how they add more cars to the streets and all this, but how they're collecting all this data, and we're in this society now where everything we do is being monitored by our online footprint. If you watch this video, they're going to show you more walking live streamers. They're going to try to find similar stuff. And how these autonomous vehicles are another way of tracing our habits and keeping track of our footprint to where we can be better sold to, better marketed to. Well, here we are on Nicollet Mall, outside of the Central Library. The Hennepin County Library, where you can go in, and I don't know if they still have them. A week or so ago, you could go in and get your Prince Library card. The icon of Minnesota. I wonder how young people feel about Prince. Like the Gen Z and the younger kids. Are they getting excited about Prince as a local hero the same way millennials and above do? Are we going to need to find a new local icon for the younger generation? There's one thing Minnesotans love is Prince, but a lot of these younger kids never, they kind of came of age after he's passed. And I know I don't have as strong of a relationship with the things that my parents grew up liking or my parents grew up enjoying. This guy just stopping. And I'll go. Who will be Minnesota's next cultural icon or cultural ambassador that really leans into being from Minnesota? I think they tried to lean on Lizzo a little bit, but she doesn't. I don't think she lives here, right? I think she lives in LA or something. We'll see. And it's hard to reach that icon status of Prince, who was just like so creative and such an incredible personality. None like him. They're currently putting up all these Christmas lights on Nicollet. I saw down by the IDS Center this morning, they were installing a few more. There was the free Nicollet bus passing by, getting your free trips up and down the mall for now. I was out to coffee with a friend of mine yesterday, and we were chatting about the new city council, the new group that's there, and how the mayor got reelected and his plans for pedestrianizing Nicollet Mall. And I think he was saying that potentially in 2027 or so would be when they would pedestrianize Nicollet Mall. Maybe they can pay for those changes with the tax we put on autonomous vehicles. Here's the city center, which has done stuff in the past for Holidazzle, but Holidazzle was canceled this year. Christmas is canceled. I believe they're doing Winteropolis. I don't know. Some series of events that are not branded under Holidazzle. There is Mary Tyler Moore. Another thing which I wonder what the impact will be with the next generation. Same with Santa Bear. The kids who didn't grow up with that, how are they going to feel about it? This is the Dayton's Holiday Market. It's like the centerpiece of the downtown holiday experience now, I guess. No more parade, no more festival. But you can go in and buy some gifts. And if we are gonna speak negatively about, which I do, about the Amazonification of our society, we gotta support little pop-ups like that and support things that encourage people to come spend money and be downtown and support local businesses over these large companies. This return to human interaction. Holidays on Nicollet, daily 10 to 5 p.m. November 13 to December 21, the Minneapolis Craft Market. Extended hours on a couple weekends there. There's your craft stuff in there. But actually, I haven't had a chance to step inside the holiday market here yet. either the Dayton's one or that Kraft one across the street. I don't think I'll be able to today. Maybe tomorrow. I'll go take a look around. But I wish them all the best. Especially this Yeehaw-nist bear. You got the Yeehaw bear. You got the 1996 firefighter bear. The Y2K bear. Bridal bear. Bully bear. Oh, the World Traveler bear. This guy is running down Nicollet like about this time almost every day, and he is fast. He's like startles me when he comes up behind me. He's cooking. We got this wizard magician bear, Baker bear. $1997 bear. All kinds of Santa bears. Some sort of holiday display, window display there. No lunchtime food truck today. Sometimes there's a food truck or a hot dog vendor posted up right around here. Wonder where they're at. We got the sidewalk police shift change. This new spiral staircase coming in the U.S. Bancorp building. Still under construction, but gonna be kind of cool. Oh, there's no one in that one. It's just an empty car. I wonder where they went. Maybe up to Target with this other guy. I don't know if it's a guy. Other person. I believe this is a bench provided by the Nicollet, or the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority. A little bit of bird poop on it, but I can still sit for a minute. Oh, there was another one on a corner back there, but I missed it. I'll have to go take a look at it before I head back to work. There's the downtown Target on that corner. Seemingly with some sort of police activity outside. You got someone driving on Nicollet Mall right there. Maybe they're lost. Who knows? someone recording a video here. Chatting with the followers. The medical arts building here on my left is really cool in there. Strive booksellers that used to be on the corner right here across the street from Target, they moved into a new spot back in there, and it's a really cool location. Really a beautiful building, worth going in and checking out. Let's go up this way. I think there's another bench there that I'll show you, and then I might have to head back to work. Oh wow, must be getting to be winter. The streaming software shows me my phone's battery level, and it has cutting down significantly faster than it typically does. So who knows what's going on there. I remember my old phone from like a few years ago. I'd walk outside, and if it was like below 30 or 20 or so, that thing would lose its charge in like 10-15 minutes. Yeah, maybe an hour or two ago they were out either adjusting or putting up these lights right outside of the IDS Center.
Nobody walks in Minneapolis.
Yeah, right? How's it going? Just walking along Nicolay. Yeah. How are you doing?
Bad. I've seen you out here a few times.
Yeah.
I normally don't annoy you though.
Oh, you don't annoy me. What was your name?
Brian.
Brian? Oh, yeah, I know you, Brian.
Yep.
Yeah. I know you from online. We met at Open Streets like a year or so ago. Yeah.
So I'm running. I do the social for Streets of Men.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think I posted your under the Portland Bridge.
Oh, yeah. That was a nice new piece of bike infrastructure there.
It's like the best.
Yeah.
Like all connected over there.
Yeah, I'm doing a live stream. You want to say anything about Streets MN really quick?
Yes.
Let me give you the mic. And you should plug your personal projects too, because those are awesome.
So today's Give It to the Max Day, Streets MN. Obviously, we're covering transit and land use in the Twin Cities. We'd love everyone to come check out the site, read our articles, and follow us on Blue Sky. Because I think everyone will be walking around Minneapolis would love what we're doing on streets, and definitely can contribute to making transit and our public spaces better in the Twin Cities. Like this guy.
Yeah.
I just got to show him. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
And what was your last name again?
Formhall.
Yeah, Brian Formhals, you got to check out. He's a great photographer. Does a lot of really cool street photography here in Minneapolis, and I think in a couple other cities as well. You got a new book coming out, right?
So I'm doing a bunch of stuff, books on my New York projects. I walked to New York, kind of where I learned everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really doing the streaming though. We gotta shout out all the work that you do, because this is really it's cool. I know people appreciate it outside of the Twin Cities too.
Hey, I appreciate that, Brian. It's great to see you. You guys support Streets MN. They got a good podcast too. Really fun to listen to. But yeah, take care. Support Streets MN and Brian Formhall. Yeah. And then here's another one of those benches put out by the Minneapolis Public Housing Authority, local human, paid and prepared by Eric Harris Bernstein for Board of Estimate and Taxation, and we're glad to see that he won. Eric is awesome. Got to do a bike ride with him a couple weeks back. I think I met him on a campaign a year or so ago. Really nice guy. Yeah, now you got this bench here on the corner you can post up and sit in and enjoy. One of the chapters in that Life After Cars book that I've spoken about a few times today that I was really enjoying was there's one where they talk about these rogue traffic calming measures and like these rogue parklets that people make, and this group of people in San Francisco who rolled up, paid for a parking meter for a few hours, put out a bench, put out some sod, put out some grass, and let people roll up and hang out for a bit. And like the way that was received, and just these fun little ways of showing like the way we can rethink a parking spot. Little deterioration there, huh? But I do need to get back to work here in the next few minutes. Do have some big changes coming in my life pretty soon here, next few weeks. So I don't know what my streaming schedule is going to be like for a bit. Might have to be later in the day or on weekends or something. We'll see. Definitely going to be some short-term changes to my ability to get out at lunchtime during weekdays. But I'll do my best to find new times and continue trying to find ways to show Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Minneapolis, Minnesota, so the state as a whole, and then wherever else I can get to and share and enjoy. But yeah, I don't know if the chat's broken today or if you all are quiet. I'm gonna assume that people were chatting the whole time and you all had wonderful, cool, and insightful and kind things to say. But it just hasn't been showing up for me. That has happened in the past. I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I think in this modern age, you know what to do if you want to see more of this stuff. But yeah, take care of yourself. And hopefully I'll be able to stream soon and show you either Minneapolis or somewhere else cool in the coming days. Take care. And yeah, support Streets Unmanned, support whatever org you can give some money to today. It is Give to the Max Day, a very big day for a lot of places that rely on donations and funding. So if you have the ability to give, do what you can for Give to the Max Day. Find something that's important to you. Find someone that is working towards the things that you enjoy and the things that you believe in, and send them a little bit of love today. Thank you for watching. Take care.